Good morning. Allowing your breath to bring you into the presence of now. Becoming aware of your body, where you are in space. Allowing the breath to bring you again here and now. We offer this one aspect of understanding that each of these meditations, these guided initiations, can stand on their own for where an individual is in that moment. And if the individual is on a path, saying yes to greater consciousness within, there is very careful intent within these meditations on how they build and expand on one another. So, with that said, wherever you are, it is always for you. So, again, bringing the presence into the body, which brings everything around you into presence. Again, from the inside, then the out. So we welcome you into the inner tree of wisdom. And bring the visual of the rings inside the tree. You may see where a tree has been cut, and a stump is there with the rings, the light and the dark. Bringing awareness to the seed that began all things. The seed, once it began to take life through the infinity of its own breath, that is, of course, the breath of all, it immediately began to go deeper within the earth with roots, and then expanding upward. We invite you to remember that the rings inside, the growth of the seed inside of the bark, begins to expand first through the nurturing of the earth. It is always a version, we would say, north to south. There is always an upper and a lower. And how it expands is always from the inside. And then as it takes an expansion, a greater breath, then that energy pushes it down further into the earth and up further into the skies. You are the same. So when you begin a conscious journey of knowing thyself, It first always begins inside and then expands outward and upward. So let's take a moment and we're going to journey together some visuals of a tree's rings. If you have a trunk of a tree that has been cut and we can see the inside, let's say it was a quite large tree. As you notice, when you go into the center of the tree, the rings are quite compact. Sometimes it's hard to see the space in between as you get closer and closer to the center. The further and further you follow the rings to the outside, closest to the bark, you will see more and more of the white, lighter growth. The rings will seem further and further apart. So as you journey with this visual together, again noticing as you go closer to center, it compacts. It's very difficult to begin to see the space between the rings. And again, the closer and closer you get to the outside, where the bark does protect, but the more recent growth cycles of a tree, there is further and further space, and you can see clearly the growth and the rest cycles of the tree. Allow this visual to enter into your consciousness and what this wisdom brings to you in your own awareness of yourself, others, and the world. Again, you are the tree is you. We would like to note the more and more consciousness that is brought to the trees, to you, to the tree. When the rings, through growth and time and cycles, begin to compact, that will either feel like a tremendous amount of wisdom, gratitude, understanding. What can occur in humans, not the tree, but humans with free will, the more and more compact, if there has not been the awareness of choice, the deeper understanding that all things are not what they seem. The compaction can feel heavy and dense, intense. There are many ways to explore this metaphor, which is also the truth of the tree and you. But we want to offer you this experience with the understanding of what the tighter rings can bring. Everyone has them in this life, in all of your experiences, not just in this timeline. to give yourself the breath and the grace that sometimes that intensity of how long you have been here, again, both here and now and other timelines, it can feel tight or it can feel precious. Sometimes it's a mixed bag of both. But giving yourself the deeper understanding and then also others of this deeper understanding is not a wrong or a right. If you begin to feel heavy, tight, bring the visual to your tree. Notice the growth cycles and the space apart, the further space apart that goes outward, outward. And then with your breath, gently go inward and inward to where it almost looks one solid in the center. And just allow your presence to be there with love, saying, I am here. I understand. And just allow your breath to enter this space. And it will transmute the way it feels in all of your bodies. Just allow the breath to be here and now, honoring, honoring all of those little tiny circles which expanded to create you. Allow yourself to journey in this week as we will go further and further within the next few sessions. Breathe. Know I am here. And so it is.